What was that year like, really, for the Raiders in the time you were there and all the craziness that was going on?
uh, to be honest, like the training camp was crazy. So, there was on Hard Knocks, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So, you would see like little glimpses of me in the background. Wasn't one of the main characters, but it was crazy. Like, I mean, Antonio Brown's locker was right by mine, and I'm gonna be honest, like he's probably one of the greatest talents I've ever seen. Like the stories about his work ethic and stuff like that is I'm not gonna lie to you, it's unmatched. Like everything that they say about the man's work ethic and stuff like that is true. Like he goes out there 20, 30 minutes before everybody, he's warming up. Every time he catches the ball, he's finishing all the way to the end zone. I mean, it was a sight to see. And then I got a crazy story. So Darren Waller was actually my roommate. So when I signed with the Raiders, I'm looking at the roster. I'm like, yeah, I don't really recognize any tight ends name other than Luke Wilson, which I played with him in Detroit. So Luke is like, he was a vet, older vet. And, I already knew him from Detroit days. But, man, when I got in the room, I met Darren Waller. And I'm just like, okay, like I've never heard of this guy. But, he's big. He's tall. And the first day he catches a crosser route and runs for like 60 yards, my first day. And I was like, I called my dad. I said, if this guy's not in the Pro Bowl, like something's wrong. Like, I don't know where he came from, but he's good. And then my dad was like, is he really that good? I'm like, yes. Like everything about this man is advertised. So I had like a crazy experience there. I mean, it was a good time. They're actually my favorite team I actually play for in the NFL right now.
Well, John Gruden, and by the way, we are talking to wide receiver and tight end of the USFL's Houston Gamblers, Brandon Barnes, played with the Jets, played with Detroit, also played with the Raiders. He had a pretty decent career in the NFL, and he's still playing football as we are talking to him now. And he's a big man. He played wide receiver, tight end. But John Gruden is a very well-known coach, and you know him pretty well because he was coaching that team. He was the one that found Darren Waller. He's the one that went to Baltimore and said after the game, I remember the story, he said, who's this guy? Before the game, he says, in preseason, who's this guy running up and down the sidelines? This guy is fast, and he's as big as a tight end. He's running, he's running slant routes faster than some of the wide receivers on the field. And after the game, I remember the story is that one of the coaches from Baltimore went to the locker room and told Darren Waller, say, listen, you were just traded. Pack up your bags. You're heading to the Raiders. So, and it's so funny because Darren Waller, I've never interviewed him, but really, really nice guy. Great stories. He was on Real Sports. He's a good guy for all the trials and tribulations he went through. It's an amazing story. So when you actually roommates, did you ever have different conversations with Darren Waller and
we talked all the time. He was a rapper. Like he can
Really?
actually rap. He's really talented. So, we would sit in the room he'll be on the, like on the game and stuff like that. And then he actually told me about, his story. And I was just like, are you serious? He was like, yes. I was just like, man, that's crazy. I remember when Hard Knocks came in the room and they interviewed him. Like, I'm just like, I do not want to be on Hard Knocks. So I end up walking out of the room. Like, I just was like, yeah, I'm not trying to be on Hard Knocks. But I ended up walking out and, I was seeing the interview later. I was like, dang, maybe I should have stayed in there. I could have got some TV time or something.
There you go. What's wrong with that, man? You need the TV time. Yeah. More money, more cash, baby. That's what you need.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
What is it like? Obviously, what was it like being coached by John Gruden?
He's a great offensive mind. Like his terminology and stuff like that is insane. And like it kind of, my goal after football is actually I want to be a coach. Like I dream to be a coach. I actually dreamed to be a coach before actually making it to the NFL was crazy. So, being in that system and learning the terminology and, like how he views things and how he reads plays and stuff, I feel like it helped me with my football IQ because in a lot of these other leagues, I've been actually playing in a lot of different systems. So it's kind of easy for me to adapt, if that makes sense.